Hello, this is Jam Master Daniel 96, and in today's video, I will be reviewing the 2003 Clone Wars Micro Series. And let's begin. Well, the Clone Wars Micro Series was the original Clone Wars series, and this was called Star Wars Clone Wars, as where the 3D animated Clone Wars series is called Star Wars The Clone Wars. So they did at least a good way to keep confusion, or, some people will say the 2003 Clone Wars, or the 2008 Clone Wars, or, they'll say the Clone Wars Micro Series, or they'll say TCW, to avoid confusion on which one, or, people will say the 2D animated series, or the 3D animated series. With either one of those to avoid confusion. I mean, this one is the 2D animated series, and this came out in 2003 and went up to 2005 when Revenge of the Sith came out in theaters. So, I mean, around that time when they were ending the series, it was a good way to build the hype for Revenge of the Sith around that time. And then pretty much, I mean, Volume 1, because it's divided into two volumes. I mean, you can buy these on DVD. Volume 1 and Volume 2. And then technically, I've read about somewhere it has 3 seasons, where Volume 1 has Season 1 and Season 2, and then Season 3 is Volume 2. So, pretty much, I mean, when this series came out, I mean, these were pretty much animated shorts on Cartoon Network, which is, kind of something, because the 3D animated Clone Wars series was also originally on Cartoon Network as well. So I wonder what George Lucas was, maybe thinking. Maybe, I don't know the full details on why both are on Cartoon Network and all that. So I wouldn't know the full details of that, but that's a discussion for another time. And I mean, pretty much with the 2003 Clone Wars, it's set between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, because in Attack of the Clones is the beginning of the Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith is where the war ends. So, I mean, so you get that pretty much, and that pretty much, fills in that was pretty much, filling in the gaps at that time. And then pretty much this show was done by the creator of Samurai Jack, Genndy Tartakovsky, did this Clone Wars series, and then, pretty much, it was like animated shorts. Like, I think Volume 1 episodes were more like 3-minute animated shorts. I mean, when you watch these on DVD, it's almost like you're watching a movie. Like, you can almost take, like, Volume 1 and Volume 2 and almost watch this into, like, one big 2-hour movie, if you did that. And I think the episodes are a little longer in Volume 2. I mean, because pretty much in Volume 1, I mean, with the story rundown, I mean, you pretty much, get the overview of the war. Then pretty much Anakin and Obi-Wan are sent to the planet Munilist, where Obi-Wan is pretty much, fighting on the planet of Munilist, and then Anakin is commanding the Space Forces over Munilist, which is where the banking clan is. And we're also introduced to the bounty hunter named Dirge, who appears in who appeared in stuff in the Clone Wars multimedia project. And so we have that. And then we're also, introduced to the clone trooper, Captain Fordo, which, so we have that in there. And that, and then this is also where we first meet Asajj Ventress overall. I mean, because you could say, I'd say, because even Asajj Ventress appeared in the comics, which Asajj Ventress is based off concept art from Attack of the Clones. I mean, you can look that up in the episode 2 art book, and I also did a fun facts on that is like a year ago on Asajj Ventress is based on concept art from Attack of the Clones, and that's that. And then say pretty much, we see Asajj Ventress become, Count Dooku's Dark Acolyte in this series. Because, I mean, in the 2008 Clone Wars series, I mean, Asajj Ventress is already Dooku's Dark Acolyte. So, I mean, pretty much in this. And then, and also we get to see the planet Mon Calamari, which, pretty much it was Mon Calamari in previous EU work. Previously it was Mon Calamari until the 2008 Clone Wars called it Mon Cala, which, on a side note, Dave Filoni said something about that George Lucas has a binder, because I think someone asked why they went with Mon Cala instead of Mon Calamari, and then Dave Filoni said something that George Lucas had a binder of like stuff, and he said, in George Lucas's view, the planet was called Mon Cala and the species are Mon Calamari. I mean, that really retcon doesn't bug me as much. I mean, it is an understandable thing, but, I'm getting a little sidetracked, talking about things about the 2003 Clone Wars and 2008, but this is, a review for the 2003 Clone Wars, so back on track. Yep, so we get to see a battle on the planet Mon Calamari, as it's called in this Clone Wars series, and we get to see Kit Fisto underwater with a lightsaber. I thought it was pretty cool when I first saw this as a kid, Kit Fisto underwater, and we got to see a lightsaber underwater, and then got to see, this little battle underwater, where Kit Fisto's leading a thing of clone troopers and all that, which I thought was pretty cool. And then pretty much, you have Yoda narrating that the planet's races have been divided. So, I mean, we also see it like something similar in the 2008 Clone Wars series as well. Like, we see a battle with there, and then, with that, and then pretty much, we see Mace Windu fight on Dantooine and all that, because pretty much when we meet, and then back to the Asajj Ventress part, we get to see us, Asajj, when she does, and then she's tasked to go get Anakin, then Asajj, joins the space battle over Munilus, then Anakin chases her through the city streets, and Obi-Wan tells him no, then, Anakin goes off to goes off, and then he tracks Asajj Ventress to Yavin 4, and then pretty much, then Obi-Wan sends a squad of clones to go after Anakin. Then pretty much, the clones arrive on Yavin. After Anakin arrives, then they pretty much, then Anakin tells them to go sweep the jungle. Then the clones get attacked. Then their ship blows up. Then Anakin's ship blows up. And then Anakin duels Asajj Ventress, which this is actually a pretty good lightsaber duel. Like, I mean, you get to even see, like, there's even a part where, like, it's raining, and then, like, Anakin and Asajj Ventress are having, like, this standoff in the rain, and I think it's pretty cool. And then they just, like, go at each other, and it's pretty cool. And then there's a bit when they're in one of the Yavin temples where you get to see the lightsaber reflection shine on Anakin, and it's, with the blue reflection on Anakin. Then you get to see the red reflection on Asajj Ventress, and I thought that was a pretty cool shot right there. Like, I really liked that shot. And then a bit at the end, then they have a fight, and then they're fighting on one of the temples, then Anakin's lightsaber drops. I mean, it doesn't go down the hole that, is where he defeats Asajj Ventress, because, he defeats, and then Anakin grabs, Asajj Ventress, like, by the wrist, then one of her lightsabers drops, then Anakin grabs one of Asajj Ventress's lightsabers, then he just goes at her, and then Asajj Ventress falls, then Anakin throws her lightsaber down after that, and then pretty much after that we go back to Munilus, is where the banking clan have surrendered, then Anakin arrives in Asajj Ventress' ship, then Obi-Wan receives a transmission from the planet Hypori, as where he's informed by Master Barrick, and then pretty much this is where we are first introduced to General Grievous, and this is where General Grievous makes his first ever appearance, and this episode probably came out, a year before Revenge of the Sith came out, and stuff. Because pretty much, the 2003 Clone Wars, because I think, Volume 1, like, because I know it's divided into 2 seasons, combined into 1 volume, because I think, it was, because it ran from 2003 to 2004, and then, like, the Volume 2 comes in, like, 2005, and then definitely, like, because this is where we first see General Grievous, so probably, because I think Genndy Tartakovsky does say that he did have things that he was, I guess, he met with George Lucas and stuff, because leading into Volume 2, because I think in the featurette, Genndy Tartakovsky tells that he wanted to meet with, because he met with George Lucas saying about how they were all sent the ship designs and all that, because they wanted it, because I think George Lucas wanted it to tie into Revenge of the Sith and all that. So, because as I said, it was a good way to build the hype for Revenge of the Sith, because, I guess it would make sense why it was General Grievous's first appearance in this Clone Wars series. Then that's pretty much that. And we see Grievous take on a bunch of Jedi and then all that. And then pretty much the end of Volume 1 cuts to like Yoda saying about like where the dark cloud, where it's kind of gray lightning, Yoda's in the Jedi Temple and all that. Then we cut, and then Volume 2 kind of starts off where Volume 1 left off, because we see like Captain Fordo and a bunch of clone troopers going to the planet Hypori to confront General Grievous. Then, they see Ki-Adi-Mundi fight in General Grievous, and then, so we get to see that, and then pretty much, they rescue Ki-Adi-Mundi and try to take down Grievous, because this is where I'd say Grievous was pretty strong. Like, this is more where General Grievous was a threat in this Clone Wars series, because I've heard a lot of people say this is the better interpretation of General Grievous, which I'll get to it soon on about the differences on that. And so you pretty much have that. Then pretty much they read the clones rescue Ki-Adi-Mundi. Then they have like Aayla Secura and Shaak Ti kind of stabilized and all that. Then we kind of cut to that, and then pretty much they rescue the Jedi, and then we're pretty much on the council chamber where it's, cut to like them talking about Anakin being a Jedi Knight and all that, because we all know Anakin gets knighted in this series, and I remember even watching this before Revenge of the Sith came out, and then seeing Anakin get knighted, because I'd say this series actually does a good job at like transitioning Anakin from Padawan to Knight, because I think in Volume 2 he has more of his Attack of the Clones how he was acting in Attack of the Clones, and then this one, and then like once you get to later in this Clone Wars series, I like how they mature him a bit, like how it'll be more in Revenge of the Sith, like, which I'd say this one does a pretty good transition with Anakin in this series, and all that. And then so we have that part, and then also, we get to see like C-3PO's gold plated in this, so you get to see how, which I thought that was a nice transition as well with this series, because I know in the 2008 Clone Wars, we already have C-3PO in his gold plating, because personally, I think in my personal headcanon, I think like the 2008 Clone Wars has more of a time jump, because I know some of it saying that the 2008 Clone Wars would say 22 BBY to 19 BBY, but I feel like the 2008 Clone Wars feels more like on a time jump and stuff. Like that's what I personally think. I think the 2008 Clone Wars feels more like a time, like there was a year difference. I feel like probably it could have taken a year after Attack of the Clones. That's what I personally think. In my personal headcanon, that the 2008 Clone Wars takes place 21 to 19 BBY. That's just me. And definitely I think with this Clone Wars series, I said how it more transitions more, like how it has the more Attack of the Clones vibes, how it's more transitioning more to Revenge of the Sith, because also in Volume 2 we'll get to see more, because at the time, because they were building up hype, because they got to see the clones, change their armor and all that from their Phase 2 armor, which I know even in the 2008 Clone Wars, we start out in the first few seasons, like I think first 2 or first 3 seasons, they have the Attack of the Clones armor, and then I think in the later seasons they get the Revenge of the Sith Clone Trooper armor. And in this one, because I think in Volume 1 and then the first episode of Volume 2, you have the clones in the Attack of the Clones armor, then we sort of have the things go more for the Revenge of the Sith look. I mean, we already have the Jedi cruisers that we see in Revenge of the Sith in Volume 2 as well. And then, pretty much after Anakin gets knighted, we get to see him more in his revenge, him with the longer hair as he has in Revenge of the Sith. And then we also get to see that, and then we get to see Obi-Wan in his Revenge of the Sith look, and then we also get to see Commander Cody in this series as well. So, they're building up the stuff for Revenge of the Sith, so we get to see Commander Cody in this series, and all that, and then we get to see, Count Dooku training General Grievous, because even though in Revenge of the Sith, General Grievous says he was trained by Count Dooku, in this, so we get to see that, and then, we pretty much, Anakin and Obi-Wan are sent to the Nelvon system. And then we have the Battle of Coruscant in this series. We get to see the Separatists invade Coruscant, which I thought was pretty cool. And then, we get to see a space battle over Coruscant. So we get to see, stuff like that. And then, we get to see Shakti and a few Jedi going to protect the Chancellor, because General Grievous is coming. And then, pretty much then cut back to Obi-Wan and Anakin on Nelvon. They see the Nelvon species. Then Anakin, goes to do his trials, and then he's in the cave and has a vision in the cave, and then he goes to a Separatist base where they're having one of the Nelvon warriors. Then, because the Nelvon warriors are being brainwashed, then Anakin tries to save him. Then the Nelvon warriors try to attack him. Then one of the Nelvon people break out of the thing that the Separatists are trying to do, and then they get freed, and then Anakin goes to get in a generator a crystal, and then we get to see, he tries to pull it out, then his arm gets blown, his robotic hand gets blown off, then, so we get to see that, then pretty much, we see the thing blow up, then things are getting back to normal, then Anakin and the Nelvon warriors stop some of the Separatists that are trying to escape and all that. Then pretty much the Nelvon warriors are free. Then Anakin frees the people. And then we cut back to Coruscant where their Shakti and other Jedi that are protecting the Chancellor are confronted by some Magna Guards. So we get to see the Magna Guards. So, we get to see all of the different things, because we even get to see the ships like the ARC-170 in this Clone Wars series as well, because it was more of the time in Revenge of the Sith, because, the ARC-170 are the Republic ships that look like X-Wings. So we get to, see all that in here. Also in this series, we see then, we see also that, then we see, General Grievous kidnap Chancellor Palpatine, which, this is setting up the stage for Revenge of the Sith, and then pretty much, Anakin getting his arm fixed, and then they have a call from, a transmission from Mace Windu, and then says they are supposed to go rescue the Chancellor. Then it sets up, and then that will set up the opening for Revenge of the Sith. And my thoughts on this Clone Wars series, I like this series. I like also the 2008 Clone Wars series as well. But one of the good things I like about the 2003 Clone Wars series, I like how it really sets the stage for Revenge of the Sith. Oh, and another thing I forgot. We see Mace Windu try to rescue the Chancellor, then he crushes General Grievous's chest, so at least they gave an explanation on why he has that cough. So that's pretty much. And then the 2008 Clone Wars series has more General Grievous with his cough, the way he looks in Revenge of the Sith, and I think, and then the 2003 Clone Wars makes him more where he has, how he acts in Revenge of the Sith. And then, with my thoughts on it, as I did say, I really like how this really ties into Revenge of the Sith, because I really like how Anakin is, how they, as I did say, I like how they really transition him from Volume 1 and Volume 2. I like how Anakin progresses in this series, on how he was, a whiny brat in Attack of the Clones, and how he's more mature in Revenge of the Sith. And I did also like the chemistry between Obi-Wan and Anakin in this series, and all that. And then, I mean, it's some really good 2D animation, and actually the 2003 Clone Wars series was actually you could say, probably my first exposure to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Like, you could say this is really one of the things that really kind of got me into the Star Wars Expanded Universe. That's pretty much all I gotta say with this video. And definitely, if you haven't seen the 2003 Clone Wars, I'd say it's definitely worth a watch. Because even if you don't like the prequels, I recommend people checking out both Clone Wars series, because they really, in my opinion, help a lot of the misconceptions with the prequels. And that's pretty much all I gotta say in this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. Bye.